Hello everybody, I was going to say morning then. Hello everybody, good afternoon, how are you? Freezing, I know. At least it's not wet. Hi Wendy, hi Helen, Margaret, Kate, Donna, Stephanie. We are doing a very small little bit of Quilt As You Go. I'll show you how to put the sashing on. And Julie, Shelley, hello to you. Sorry if I miss anybody. Snowy in Poland. No, we haven't got snow here where I am in the UK, but I think it has been snowy, hasn't it? I know we have, Kim's had snow in London. Hi Linda, Ruby, Coco, hello. Who was first in there? Sorry, I've missed loads of you. Lynn, Christine, Haley, hello. Geraldine, and Jan, Pamela, Julie, hello. And, oh, thank you very much, Julie. Tracy, hello. Leslie, hello. Liz. Liz, we missed you. Was Liz ill? Sorry, Liz, you disappeared, but I think you said you weren't very well, so I hope you're going to get better soon. Hi, Wendy, Anne, Amanda, Maggie, Karen, and Shelley, and Dorothy, and Sue, and Helen, and Liz, and Shirley, and Patricia. Hi, Rita from upstate New York. What's your weather like over there? But that's freezing, isn't it? Hi, Sue, Diana, Evelyn, Wendy, and a couple of weeks ago, actually, Dorothy, but thank you for noticing. Hi, Cherry, Serena, in Bath. Hello, Olive. Right. Oh, it's so cold. I had the heating on down here for about 4 hours, and it's still so cold. Right. I've managed to give flu to my husband. On the plus side, I use the whole of the dining table for sewing. Not so good for him, but hey, other things on his mind, I'm imagining at the moment. Snowy and cold in Aberdeen. Hope all's well, said Diane. Hello. Hi, Marita. Oh, right, okay. I'll have a look at this in just a sec. I have only 3 new fabrics to show you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll switch the sound off. You came all the way down just to give me that. Thank you. I like to have the phone with me because Kim watches from home. She's driving at the moment. But if anything comes up urgently, then she sends me a text. So I like to have that with me. It's freezing out there. Isn't that nice? Hi, Jill. Hello from snowy Tromsø, Norway. Oh, hello. Oh, what do you think, Rita? Should we make a note of where people are in the world? Don't expect you to do this every week now. No, it's an awful lot of work, but it's interesting, isn't it, where everybody is? So let's do it anyway. So where in the world are you? Which country? So I don't need to know which town, just which country are you in? Let's see if we get any new ones. All right. Oh, right. So let me show you these. These are lovely. I don't know prices and what they're called, to be honest, because Kim's literally put them on the website and gone. But if you have a look under new arrivals, when you go to debbieshortsewing.com, you will find them there. And these are just beautiful. Look at the drape on these. So brand new supplier. Let me see if I can find them. I might not have internet access down here. It's not normally too good, but we'll have a go. But I love the drape on this. It just feels so lovely. And it's quite a classy colour. And oh, here we go. For those of you who like a dark colour, where's new today? New arrivals. There we go. It's very flattering as well. Let's see what it's called. Virginia Landscape Viscose Lawn, Navy and Sage. Isn't it beautiful? But it's the fabric is just so fluid. It's solid, you know, it's not going to be sheer and see-through or anything, but it is just beautiful. Really cool. That would make a gorgeous, maybe a dress with ruffles or those oh, what are they called, the puffy sleeves. Absolutely beautiful. And then this is the other new one, same supplier, this one. So it's a new supplier we've got, which is quite exciting. So this is another lawn. Can't open it, which again gives you that fluidity. This one is called Astra Viscose Jacquard, and I wouldn't say it's a jacquard. Maybe looks like a jacquard print, but it isn't a jacquard weave, just to let you know. So don't expect it to be double-sided. But again, just so lovely and soft and flowy, and for dressmaking, absolutely perfect. Of course, you can use any of these type of fabrics for making something a bit more sturdy if you put some interfacing on the wrong side of it. So the interfacing that we use, if I was going to make a bag, then just something like the G700 will work really well. Or even if you're making a cushion cover, just something like that, just like a medium weight interfacing would go really well. It makes it a bit firmer, means it doesn't have the fluidity and kind of twist as much, but it does mean that you can use them for more projects, so that's something to bear in mind. And then something that we found yesterday, we went up to Manchester yesterday for fabric consultations, myself and my daughter, with the people that we design fabric for, and we saw this, and it's a corduroy, but we just loved the colour. So I'm thinking immediately corduroy bags. Kim's thinking clothes, pinafore dresses, but it could be cushion covers. It's just such a lovely, elegant kind of salmony pink colour. We are calling this one dusky pink, and it's 54 inches wide. So it's a dressmaking width. It's going to be wider than a quilting cotton, which is normally 44 inches wide. So meant for dressmaking, but of course you can do so much more with those. And corduroy is a really nice sturdy fabric if you're covering chairs and that kind of thing, ideal. Anything that you order is, oh hello Melody, in Missouri, is by the half metre, unless it states that these are pre-cut pieces. Our fabrics aren't pre-cut pieces. You pay per half metre, you order in half metre units, but they do come joined up. So if you wanted to make something bigger like curtains or something like that, it does come all in one piece. It's lovely, isn't it, Amanda? It's just a really lovely, oh look, it matches my nail varnish perfectly. Fancy that. I could have maybe a gilet to match my nails. Hi Sharon. Olive loves the fabrics. Sarah's in Breaston. I got married in Breaston first time around. There you go. Didn't know that one, did you? Hello, Joe. Cold in Swindon and loves a corduroy too. Thank you very much, Julie. We're getting rather festive, and I thought we'd have twinkling lights today. Right. Something else I wanted to show you. A couple of things. Do we have Linda with us? Linda's just messaged me with a little bit of confusion about the pattern pieces for the polar bear. And I think I know what she's done wrong, so I said I would explain, so I'll do that in just a second. On Christmas Eve, when we have the Half Yard Sewing Club Sew Along, it's going to be this. And your newsletter will be going out tomorrow if you're a club member, with all of the ingredients that you need to make it. So I've made similar before, but I just thought it's something quick, easy. It's using up scraps. I love the ribbon decoration on there. You can add even more embellishments if you wanted to. You could put rows of ribbon or lace across here. You could put a little wristlet on the side, but we're just keeping it a really simple make. And it's all lined and everything. But I'm thinking that after all of the planning and the work we do on the weeks leading up to Christmas, let's make something for ourselves. So this could be a makeup bag, but it could be something to store your sewing notions in as well. So it will be 11 o'clock as usual, because it's a Saturday morning. So 11 o'clock we'll be doing the sew along. Don't have to sew along, and you don't have to be a Half Yard Club member, but it will be on YouTube where you are now, but on Facebook it will be on the Half Yard Sewing Club Facebook page, but I'll post about that nearer the time. Kaz says, thank you for keeping me positive. I had an accident 7 weeks ago and damaged the main nerve to my hand. Could take up to 2 years to heal. Oh, God. Oh, sorry, Kaz. Do you know, at least it was only a hand and only one. Can you sew with your other one? Painful, though. Ooh. Thank you, Debbie, for a pink parcel. Lovely purple fleece. Lovely. Going to try making a hoodie pyjama top. That's a nice idea. Early on Christmas Eve is better than late on Christmas Eve. Well, very early on Christmas Eve, Elsie, I should be on Create and Craft at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then later on at 3 o'clock. And if you're around on Christmas Day, if you're not doing anything, a lot of people aren't, I'll be live at 11 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A bit late been for Christmas lunch with the quilting club. Oh, how nice, how lovely. A quilting club, like-minded friends. Lois was going to make so much for Christmas but lost her energy. Oh, that's a shame. Diane, why do the member pictures disappear off the Half Yard Sewing Club? At the moment, Diane, I think we've only got space on the website for 9 pictures. So as new ones come along, the older ones disappear. I know they've been looking into it for a long time, actually, because it would be nice to have more on there. And I shall ask the question, but at the moment, that's all the website's built to hold. So if anybody goes and loads 9 pictures, everything gets wiped off and you only see one lot. The girls do try and keep on top of it and make sure that they rotate and not too many by the same person uploaded at the same time. But that's why it's just the way that the website's been built. Yes, twice on Christmas. Oh, well done, Alan. Getting ready for his first sewing class, for a sewing group on Friday. Oh, good luck with that one. Just arrived, had a lovely lunch out with cousins. That's nice. Oh, so anyway, that will be Christmas Eve. I will put on Facebook the ingredients that you need, but you can just use scraps. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And on YouTube, I shall put a post for subscribers. Not all subscribers get the messages for some reason, and that's kind of out of my hands. But if you would like to subscribe, if you're not already, and then click the notification bell, you should get a message every time I go live, or every time I send a message to you, because I can send out messages and stuff to everybody if you do that as well. So do that. I'm almost at 270,000 subscribers. I know, I think I've got about 300 to go. Very exciting. Hi, Susan. No, you're not two. Oh, two Susans came through together there. Love the hens. Yes, that's on the website. We do have some back in stocks as well. I'm going to show you this quilt again, because we've got the blender fabric. I'll just move that out of the road. Oh, limbo. We do have some of these blender fabrics back in stock again. Right. So, whoops. Let's open this up. They only came in today, so they're fresh on the website. We can always get more of these, but as soon as they go out, because you register your interest for the fabrics when they come back, as soon as your email goes out, we tend to sell out again. So we will be getting more in, so don't worry about that. So we have turquoise, olive, white on white, gold and pink. I think we've still got some of the navy left, the royal left as well, I think. So those are available on their own. So if you wanted to do the backing fabric in the same fabric as the front, then we do have those available for you. But when we sell out, because we're going to, I know we are again, then just put on, just click, when you go on the Debbie Shaw Sewing website, go to the product, and it'll say keep me informed. And if you put your email address in there, you'll get an email to say when they're back in stock again. In Australia, but hoping to visit my sister next year in Fakenham. Oh, right. Hi, Deborah. No, you haven't missed anything. I'm just nattering at the moment. Don't worry. Hi, Susan. Hi, Asti. So glad I'm now a member of the Half Yard Sewing Club. Last time I saw that your son bought you an Austrian... Oh, you've gone. So messages come through so quickly, they scroll. Bought me an Austrian coffee cup, and woohoo, greetings from Austria. Are you is that the first Austria? I can't remember. Is that the first Austria, Rita? Can't remember. Hi, Nancy. Sister and granddaughter Charity making Christmas cookies this coming Friday. May have a little wine. Well, why not, Nancy in Colorado? What's your weather like there? Hello, Mary in Virginia. That's nice, Alan. No, it's nice you're getting on. I'm glad you've got a sewing group. Seem to have sewn loads for selling and family. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Julie in Southern California. So, can I, but where are the hens? The hen fabric must be on there. Thing is, I can't remember what it's called. Let's have a look down. I was just scrolling down to last week. That's not that one, not that one, not that one. Oh, maybe it's not on. We've got cats. We've got, oh yes we are, yes we are. It's that one. There we go. It's Winborn Fabrics. So it's really, really lovely quality, and we've just got the two from the collection. So this one is Farm Fresh Cockerels, and it's £7.50 for half a metre. It is a premium range. It's beautiful fabric, and the floral one is Farm Fresh Flowers. We don't have the ribbons on the website; those are mine, and these are just some scraps of plains that I found in my drawers that just match those fabrics. So yeah, we're looking for cockerels, not hens, if you were searching it. What else was I going to show you on here? I've lost my thread now. What was I going to say? It'll come back to me, I'm sure. We do have some of the kits left for these as well. They've been ever so popular, so I'm glad you like them. Look like one of the victims sew at Hazard's, right cotton on yourself. I get covered in thread. I am a complete magnet for threads, particularly with knitwear. I don't know why I ever wear anything black. I've even had complete strangers walking up to me in a supermarket picking thread off me. I'm covered in it. I haven't even started sewing yet. Well, the nature of the beast. A Christmas tree skirt. A bit short notice for Christmas, Leanne. I have done one in half-yard Christmas. I have a Christmas tree skirt video on YouTube, a really old one, I'm sure. Very cold in Colorado. My friend got ground blizzards. Woo, and 6 to 12 inches of snow. Oh, Nancy, that's a bit harsh. And where's the ducks? Where's the ducks? What ducks? What ducks are we talking about? Are we being chickenist? How many different colours minus the black and white on white? In the quilt, there are 7. Plus the dark grey, plus the white and white. So there's 9 colours altogether. But 7 of the actual coloured prints are in this one. I can't remember how much of each one, I'm afraid. But if you have a look on your newsletter from last month, I think the girls put it on the newsletter how much fabric you actually need. Of course, you don't have to use this fabric. Completely lost my train of thought there. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, we're going to do some Quilt As You Go. Only a little bit, just to briefly explain it. And I was talking to Melissa and Emily, my editor, today, and I said I'm going to make a video to show how to do this Quilt As You Go, because it's all on point, so it may be a little bit different. A Christmas tree skirt using sequin velvet. Liz, I don't wash my cotton before quilting. Cotton, I tend to find these days, has very little shrinkage, and if it does shrink, I think it's normally between 3 and 5% or something like that, is minimal. But I like the look of it with a quilt. If you're nervous about anything, the only reason I pre-wash, and maybe if I was using a red or a dark red, because they tend to be the colours that run, but certainly not because of shrinking. I know different people have different opinions on that, but I don't. The only time I would pre-wash is if I'm dressmaking something that's fitted, or if I'm making a coat or something like that. If you can pre-wash. Obviously if you're using wool, then you're not going to pre-wash it. But sometimes, only because if it's really fitted, and I don't wear things that are very fitted, but if it's something that's very fitted, then even the smallest amount of shrinkage can mean that it doesn't fit. But only in dressmaking. I wouldn't do that anywhere else. But what you could do instead of pre-washing is give it a blast of steam, because it has that same kind of effect. It's the heat that makes it shrink, not the wet. So if you just steam over it, then that should take care of any shrinkage. Can't download the video for the polar bear, or is it just me? You don't download it at the moment, Lorraine. You'll play it from the website. The only time we give you a download is when we actually come to taking the projects down after 2 years. And I'll be honest with you, the reason for that is that we offer anybody a free month's membership. And that first 4 weeks of your free month, you have access to more than 48 projects. 24 of those will have videos, and somebody could just go on there, download all 24 videos and then not subscribe again. So I'd be giving everything away. So we'll give you a download link after 2 years, otherwise just watch it on the website. But to be honest, that's a good thing as well, because they are kept on the website all that time. If you start downloading lots of videos, it's taking up the space on your PC. So that's why. I've got a whole day off on Sunday. What shall I do? Lay in bed watching Christmas films, or go in my sewing room and stroke my collection of fabric? Why don't you take your TV in the sewing room? Oh, and sit in your sewing room stroking fabric, watching Christmas films on TV? Heaven. Bobbin's good, thank you, Leanne. I've been for a nice long walk today in the freezing cold. She wasn't happy. Oh, Tyler's girlfriend bought her a present last night, like a toy. She doesn't have many toys. She was so daft with it. She took it to bed. She brought it down this morning. She gave me a grumble when I tried to take it off her. She was obsessed with this toy. She just carried it everywhere. You know how dogs, they don't have, well, they do have expression, but it was a really pleased with herself kind of expression. And then she ripped it to pieces. Drains Bay. Oh, I don't know if I like. That's not a very romantic name, is it? Drains Bay. Where's that? Lawn. Sounds Scottish. Cold in Blackford has Carol. My husband is sewing along. He's making a cravat for a Cuban murder mystery this week. Ooh. Is it the cravat that is the cause of the murder when it's tied too tightly? You never know. Never know. When I download videos, it takes me ages to find them again. Yeah, we give you a link. So you will have the link rather than actually download onto your PC. So we store all of the videos. It's on Vimeo, and so it's not actually the video that you download. It's that you'll have the link to the video, so you can always access them. Freezing in France, says Julie Jones. Wasn't expecting it to be so cold because we had such a exceptionally hot summer, didn't we, this year? I said we're not going to get a winter, and it just seems to go the complete opposite. It's exceptionally cold. Linda, that's what I was thinking to do. Right, this is for Linda. Your pattern pieces, there's 3 for this section here. So, because everything's printed out on A4 and it's a big bear, so we couldn't fit even 2 pieces on A4. So you've got 1 piece at the top, there's 1 piece that finishes here, and then the leg goes on it. So stick all those together first before you cut the pattern out. Linda sent me a picture of her pattern pieces, and it does actually say on the pattern, attach here, and you didn't. So you've cut out 1 piece here and another piece for the leg. So if you don't have enough fleece left to actually cut this out again, to start again, so stick your pattern pieces together and then cut it out, you could, if you use a small seam allowance, just join those 2 pieces together. You'll have a seam down there. It doesn't really matter, does it? And because it's fleece and it's stretchy, you can then ease the foot in. So losing 1/4 of an inch or so, if you make an 1/8 of an inch seam down there, isn't really going to make any difference because it's a stretch fabric. And then I would, when you've got the seam, just maybe brush over it. And let me see if that works. Actually, I've got a scrubbing brush. Because I'm thinking if you... Yeah, that kind of works. If you then brush over the seam, it doesn't disappear completely, but it looks a lot less noticeable when it's brushed. So I would do that. That looks a lot different when I'm looking at it than when it's on the screen, because you can barely see that seam now, but you can when you're looking at it up there. But yeah, it just goes from that to do a little bit more. Yeah, you can see it's disappearing there now. So you will have a line down here, but I don't really think that matters. Don't worry about it. Actually, that's a good idea. I've never done that before. That just entered my mind that maybe you could do that with fleece. Yeah. Sometimes I just surprise myself. And there you go. Put that back in there. And you can go back there. Hey. There. Right. Hello, Cecilia in Portugal. Rain and floods. Oh no. Couldn't find you on Facebook. Oh, I'm there. I am there on Facebook. Susan, definitely there. There's a drains bay in County Antrim. Is there? Not heard of that before. Hello, I'm in Suffolk in England. Hello, Vicky Farley. Northern Norway is Anita. Hello, lot of wind and snow today. Okay, what kind of toy what? Kathy, I'm maybe talking to somebody else. Right, quilt as you go. So with this is if you're new, if you're not a member of the Half Yard Club, we give you a block of the month every year, and basically that is a quilt that's made up of 12 blocks. This one's actually got 13, and let me show you the first one that you're going to be doing. And you'll make a block every month and then assemble the whole thing in December with the final block. Now, let's lift it up a little bit. So with this one, it's the first time we've done a quilt as you go, which means that every single block you make, you quilt that block. So you don't have to wait until you've got to the end of it. And this is a big quilt. It is 60 inches square. And maybe there's a concern about getting that underneath your sewing machine to quilt it. So every block is quilted on the way. So the way that it works This is going to be your first block, which is a melon patch, and you'll make this bit. I don't know why that's lifted up there. You'll make this, that's the block, and then quilt it. Now Melissa has designed these. It's not my design, I'm not taking the credit from her, she's amazing. And all she's done here is echo quilted around the shape of these, and these are applique. So don't worry about sewing curves together, that can be quite tricky, but these are applique pieces that are sewn on the top. So you'll get all your patterns and your instructions and everything on the 1st of January for this block. So you'll make up the block like that, but then as you can see, I'm just going to stand up and zoom out just a little bit. So, oh, it does that every time, it has a mind of its own, that camera. So as you can see, it's on point. So you make the block up square and then you turn it around this way as you make up the quilt. So don't worry about the sashing and don't worry about these corner pieces. That's all you're going to do in January. Then I'm not sure if this is the correct order, but if I just go down to the next row of blocks, there are 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm not sure if these are, if I've got them in the right order, but that would say be January. Then in February you'll make that one. And this time Melissa's just stitched in the ditch. You can do a little bit of free motion or meandering or echo quilt or do whatever you like with those. You quilt them however you like, but this one is just stitched in the ditch. So February you'll make that, not the black and the white. Well, these white, but not these bits. Then March you'll make this one, and this one again is just stitched in the ditch. And then in April you'll make this one. In April we'll give the instructions on how to start putting them together. Right, so there's no point in doing that in January because you've only got one piece. But with your January one, you'll do this one, and this one. So you'll get all your measurements again, and we'll show you how to make that piece. Whoops, just knock that on the floor. Just do that on how to make that. And so this all comes in April. So you've made this in January, and they're 12.5 inches, Elsie. And then add these 3 to the bottom. So again, because it's all on point, I need a bigger table, you've got a triangle and then you'll join the squares together. All right. And then, well, then you'll have the technique, you'll know how to do that. You can leave it all right to the end before you put it all together. There's nothing to say that in April you have to do all this. You could save the whole lot until the end of the year. Now there are 13 blocks in here. There are 2 that are quite similar. So this one, and you will get instructions for both of those in January. Okay, so they're the same block but different colour options, different colourways. So you can make up 2 of those in January if you want to. So that's knocking everything up. So that's the way that that's going to work. So all I'm going to show you today is how to put the sashing on, because that's if you're making any kind of quilt as you go, there are different ways of doing it, but if you're making any kind of quilt as you go, then this is a pretty standard way of doing it. When you come to put in the triangles on, you'll need to wait till April, so you've got your measurements there. And another beauty of using a quilt as you go method is that you've got a similar design on the back, because you're doing both at the same time. This fabric, Jenny, this is on point. So let me show you. That's how you quilt. So your blocks are square, and then because this quilt everything is kind of twisted around so it's on the diagonal, that's on point. It's just literally making the point. Instead of having a square that way, you've got a square that way. So it's built as though the squares are straight. So you'll do them in rows like this. That's how the rows go. But the actual quilt, when you finished it, is like that, which is on point. I hope that explains. It is a good idea, isn't it, Nancy? Maybe your device. What is echo quilt, please, David? Jean, this is where you'll sew just inside the seam. So on this one, Melissa's just sewn 1/4 inch away, around the edge of there. And where's the first one? I need a wider angle. See, this is echo quilted, but this time she's done 2 rows. So that's all it is just sewing within the seam allowance. And the one that you'll start with again is echo quilted. That's 3 lines just drawn, as you can see, just sewn around there like that. You could do the whole lot like that. You could just do one, but that's what echo quilting is. Have you got any more questions about these? I don't want to miss anything if you're asking questions, because it's really important. Jane's finished the block of the month Christmas quilt today. Fabulous. Don't forget to put pictures on the website, will you, Jane? Not done any on point or quilt as you go before. Great to learn new things. It is, Leslie, isn't it? And we do try to bring you kind of different techniques with each one of the quilts as you go. Oh, just to mention as well that all of the block of the months, and this will be your 4th, they don't go down. So when I mentioned earlier on that we take projects down off the website after 2 years, these don't come down, so you'll always have access to them. That's pretty good, isn't it, for £5.99 a month? Diane's never quilted before. We're going to try in this one. I don't have time, Diane, to do videos for each block, but I will do a video on how to put them together. I don't think, to be honest, any of them are particularly complicated. I think Melissa's been very clear with her instructions, and I think like sewing curves together can be complicated, but as I said earlier, that's applique. Those shapes are actually sewn on the top, and even to turn the edges, what she's done is to cut out the shape twice. So with the backing fabric on interfacing on the back, made a hole in the back and turned it the right side out, so it's got a perfect seam around the edge. It's a very simple technique actually. I was saying about the quilt as you go on the back, that just happens to be as it looks. We don't have this fabric anymore. This is completely out of stock. It's one of Melissa's that she had in her stash. You can choose to either make a feature of the sashing or have it all one colour. That's entirely up to you. So you won't be able to get those fabrics anywhere now, but we do have the same colours that we've got on the top if you wanted to echo that on the back. Stitch in the ditch, Leanna, is stitching over an existing seam. So she's sewn over the seam here. I don't know if you can just about, so stitching is amazing. You can just see there, she's sewn over the seam. So the idea with that is it quilts without you really seeing where it's quilted. I find it quite difficult to be exact like this, to be honest. So if you're not too sure about getting exactly on these lines, then this method may be an easier one to do. There is a lot of stitching in the ditch on this one, but you could do this instead. And this is just straight line quilting. This is very, very simple. You could do that across the whole lot. You know, you don't have to stick to what Melissa's done here at all. You do whatever you find easy. Very smart to make the ellipses appliqued. Yes, I was worried I was going to purchase a new orange peel ruler. No, they're appliqued, Biz, so that's quite easy. Bernadette's in Tenerife. My friend Bernie is rowing the Atlantic. That would be freezing. He left yesterday. Oh, left on Monday. Is he keeping in touch? Is he all right? Wow. Sacks not socks. I missed your message, Tracy. Let me just go back again. You'll help with the HM. Yes, and thank you for that. We have, I'm going to show you. We have a Ask a Member page on the website. I just need to sign in, so hold the line a moment. Caller. Off your sewing club. I'll just log in. Sign in. And there we go. I've had my PCs upgraded. Oh, it's so quick now. So this is the website, and if you go to Ask a Member, we get comments and messages on here all the time. Oh, Sam's asked how do I join the Facebook group. We don't have a Facebook group. I must reply to it. It's not a group, it's an open Facebook page. make an overnight bow but don't have the measurements, and I'm struggling to sew PVC apron. So all of these questions come through, we get them every day and you can answer them. So it's a really nice chatty place to be. There's loads of you on there, and that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you share pictures and all kinds of things, and it's like a frequently asked questions. Oh, Jill made a cookie polar bear and printed the pattern 75% to make a cub. Oh, Jill. Oh, look. Oh, genius. Oh, see, this is the kind of thing I was saying. You share things on here. So you ask questions, somebody answers. If it's not one of you, it'll be one of us. So as Anne was saying, if you do have any questions, we're a very friendly bunch. There'll be somebody there that can help you. So if you are struggling with any of the blocks, just put a post on there, put a picture on there if you like, say this is what I'm struggling with, and somebody will be stepping in to help you. Right. Yeah, that worked really well, Jill. Will the smashing have wadding as well as the block? The smashing? It is smashing, isn't it? The sashing does have wadding. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Yeah, they're lovely, Jill. Right. Shirley's watching in Canada. Hello, everyone. Is anybody new? Anybody new here for the first time? For the first time on YouTube, do you remember the video that I made of the little angels? It's really interesting when you go onto the analytics of YouTube, and I have an app. So as a, what do they call them? Influencer? Well, I don't know. As one of those folk, you get to see all of the insights and who's watching. How they know how old you are, I don't know, because I don't think I've ever put on YouTube how old I am. But they tell you how old you are, whether you're male or female, and whereabouts in the world you are. And the majority of viewers are in the UK. So that particular video, I think, has had something like 77,000 views in a week. Hello, and most of them in the US, and it's the first time I've ever had videos watched more in the US than in the UK. So there you go, there's a first. Oh, just wanted to mention as well, if you are in the States, we have an awful lot of followers in the States. I think something like, I think it's about 30% in the UK and 20% in the US. So those are the two big ones, and then there's the rest of the world as well. But I do get a lot of questions about the Half Yard Club from people in the States and in Canada and in Australia, saying, can you join? Yes, of course you can. You can join if you're anywhere in the world, because there isn't anything to post. Everything is downloadable, so you'll need a printer because you need to print out patterns. But so you'll have step-by-step instructions with photographs for all of the projects. One project a month you'll have a video for. Not all of the projects need a pattern, but you may have a pattern that you'll need to download and print off. So that can be anywhere in the world. So if you are in the States, we do, I mean, we've got Lancing, we've got Rita. We've got so many people already in the States, loads in Australia, but you literally can be anywhere in the world. So have a look on halfyardsewingclub.com for the details, and if you want a free month, so you can trial it, see what it's like, see if you like it. Then you put the code WELCOME in capital letters in the coupon box when you go to pay. So you'll have to put in all of your details and your credit card details and everything, but we won't take any payment. That's just the way the websites work. But you can put the code WELCOME in capital letters, and don't pay for the month. So if you're a little bit concerned, if you're around the other side of the globe to us in England, that it'll cost you a fortune because you're so far away, then don't worry about it. We have a binfluencer. Tells us which bin could go out each week. Can I borrow him, Lois? I can never remember. Mind you, not normally my job, I have to say. Hello, Lena in Illinois. Can you please tell me how much fabric you need for the backing and the wadding? The wadding will be, I'm saying twin size. I think twin size is 72 by 90. The finished quilt is 60 inches square. So as long as it's a bit bigger than 60 inches square, then that's going to be enough. And it doesn't have to be square, because you're going to put the wadding on each one of these individually. So you don't need one big piece of wadding. So if you've got a few bits left over from something else, then you can use those as well. And the backing fabric, If you're going to do it in 2 colours like this, you'll need 2.5 meters of this one and 1 meter of the contrast. So if you want to do it all in 1 colour, it's 3.5 meters altogether. Hello Karen in Ohio, in Weymouth in Ohio. Rowing Nozo is rowing. Hopes to arrive in Antigua mid-February. Well, it's going to be hot there, isn't it? That's probably a good place to be if you're rowing. Wow. Nancy does order an awful lot of fabric. Thank you, Nancy. Diane loves the half yard club. The videos are so perfect for a new sewer like me. I stop at each step to sew and then move on. Thank you, Diane. I really appreciate that. So, get to know the words. Right. Any more questions? And do ask them, won't you? Just do come and ask them. Where can I put that? Oh, table's behind me. Go down there. So this is the way that it works. We've got to pretend we've quilted these, all right? And I need my spray. Elsie's never made a quilted go quilt. Can't wait to make the first block. Now I'll show you the technique, so don't take too much notice of the exact measurements that I'm giving you here. If you're a club member before April, so I've got plenty of time at the moment, I will... Oh, I've dropped a piece of fabric. Oh no. Right, I need to forge a little bit of fabric to go on the back of there. Sorry about that. That's what happens when I'm down the opposite end of the house. I have the opposite end of the garden to the house. So let me put the iron on. There we go. Yeah, so if you're quilting this quilt, you'll get all of the measurements and the instructions and everything for how to put it together in April. And so I'll do a video before then to show you how to put it together. I won't have time to do every individual block to show you that. But again, they're not too complicated. Karen, we've used 9, including the very dark grey and the white. Those are all of the fabric requirements are in the newsletter that went out last month and will be on the website when this is launching on the 1st of January. So if you wanted to double check then. Excited to do the first block too. Oh, Sue's got all of her ingredients, lovely. Virginia's hand appliquing a Celtic knot block. Celtic knot block. In Nova Scotia. Wow. See, we are all over the place. And do I have my rotary cutter down here? Absolutely not. Right. I'll just cut a piece then. So again, this is just to show you how it works, not for accuracy. Because these blocks are actually a little bit smaller than the finished block. And I'm not going to quilt them. Because we'll be here all day. Nothing wrong with being all, I quite like being down here. At least it's warm now. Ish. Okay. Just cutting it a piece there. In fact, I'll cut 2 and we'll do a white background backing instead of the one that I thought I was going to do. Hello Lynn in California. Rosemary's in Northern Ireland. And yeah, Lynn likes quilted you go because you've got a small area. It makes it easier, doesn't it? I mean, you will have to sew the whole thing together at some point, but at least you won't have to quilt it because you're quilting it on the way. That's okay, Jill. It's a quilt on the go where you hand sew in between the squares. You can hand or machine sew. Up to you. What did Melissa do? Let me have a look. She machine sewed. I'll show you. I shall show you what to do. So, I need a bigger studio. Sorry, Gary, but I need a bigger studio. Right. So we'll have, that would be in effect your patchwork piece. So you've patchwork all of that together, and then that goes on here, So wadding goes on the back. 505 spray is ideal to hold all of these pieces together. So we do that, we do that. And the nice thing with this is it's repositionable. Spray it onto the wadding rather than the fabric. And I'm spraying quite close here because I do have my machine next to me and I don't want to get the spray anywhere near there. But try and keep the spray about 8 inches away, because if you get any closer it'll go wet. So you need a nice fine spray, and that's why we spray it on the wadding instead of the fabric as well, because we don't want any blobs, because it can stain. So a little bit of spray on there, and the backing that I've just cut, which I didn't cut down the middle, and that goes on the back. So your squares, if you're doing the block of the month, will be 12.5 inches square. All right, and then you'll quilt it. So let's do that with a couple of pieces. Oh, Mickey's in bed with COVID. Oh, I hope you get better soon. Right, so that goes on there. Backing fabric goes on the back. So that is my quilt sandwich, as it's called. And you'll quilt it. Then if you need to, you trim these to the 12.5 inches square, or to make them square. Every square has to be the same size. Okay, so pretend that's patchwork and pretend that I've quilted it. Right. Then you'll have 2 strips of fabric. These happen to be 4.5 by 2.5. No, they're not. They're 4.5 by the length, so it'll be 4.5 by 12.5 for this quilt, and that's folded in half and pressed. And that's going to go on the top, and that one's going to go on the bottom. Okay, so both folded in half and pressed. And then you'll have a strip of wadding. This one is 1.5 inches wide, and that's going to go over this. I'll show you that in just a second. So raw edges together, put this up against the 2 sides that you're going to join. So the outer on the top and the lining on the bottom, and just line up those edges. Stick a few pins or quilts in there if you like. Jenny Jones has just got her quilt kit, but she can't open it till Christmas. Amanda thinks that Jack Russell's got his eye on my folder bear. Oh, right. So just line the edges here as well. And then also down here, it's important you keep your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Thank you, Learn. I don't think we've got any more stock of this. Actually, I just found it in my drawers. It's my fabric. So pop this under the machine. Switch the machine on first. It's always a help when you do that. And so now a walking foot would be advisable. I normally say, oh, if you haven't got one, don't rush out and buy one. But if you want perfection, then rush out and buy one. They can be quite expensive, but you're going to take a year to make this quilt, and you want it to be right. So it's worth maybe, they're about £30 or something. Right. Then we're going to take the backing fabric and press that away from the edge there. Okay. And then our strip of wadding is going to go down here. So again, I'll use a little bit of 505. I'm just doing this over my bin because I don't want it to get on anything here. That goes in there. Should I have done that? I should have done that the other way. Take the second piece. No, I think we're okay. And this is going to go, that goes in there like that. So that needs to go right sides together with that piece. I might have put that wadding on the wrong part, but it doesn't matter. It works the same way. Just sew down there. Can't see what I'm doing, can you? There we go. So that's the front, and then this is the back, and you'll fold this over and the wadding should fit exactly in between the two pieces, so that's it's nice and flush. And then you can top stitch down here. If you prefer to sew that by hand, then that's absolutely fine. You will see the stitches through on this side, so if you sew quite close to the edge, see those two, the back and the front should meet if your measurements are perfect. So let's have a look. So when I sew down the back, and again close to the edge, maybe closer than that, and we'll see where we end up. If you're not too sure about the stitches matching on the front and the back, then hand sew. But even if you're hand sewing, it's not too daunting because, oh, I'm so pleased with that, because you're doing it in small amounts. So again, so that's machine stitched. As long as you've cut everything out and you're using your 1/4 inch seam allowance, if you sew very close to the edge of that, it should come out very close to the edge of that one. And that's the way that you build it up. Now with your, I'm just going to switch the iron off. So that would be, so there are different ways of doing that. And this one does have cornerstones. So you'll need to follow your instructions because you will need to add these bits. But I think, if I remember rightly, the way that she's done it, would be, oh sorry, let me just try and open this out again so that you can see. There. So for instance, those two, a slightly different size, will be those two. So you do 3 of those together because there's 3 in this row. I think next year we'll go for a smaller quilt. Alright, so you've got 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. And then the end pieces will be triangles, so that would kind of go up to there. Piece of sashing but joining onto a triangle piece, and then when you've got all your rows this way sorted out, then you'll put these sashings in one big long strip in the same way. So you'll join, it's actually the other way around, but you join that to that to that to that to that to that, and then add that to the whole of the top of the row. So you've got this whole row of blocks sewn together first, and then that goes along the top. Yes, you need your backing fabric before you start the quilt because you're backing it at the same time. Excuse me. But as you can see, as I say, imagine that's quilted. You don't need one big huge piece. Some of the kits that we've been sending out are actually in 2 1-metre pieces instead of 2 meters, because they're kind of small pieces, And with your wadding as well. I'm saying twin size wadding. If you're buying wadding for the first time and you don't have any at home already, twin size will be fine. But if you do have some bits and bobs, that's the biggest size of the wadding that you're going to actually need, would be a 12.5 inch square, maybe a 13 inch square that you trim down. So again, if you do have any, you don't need one big sheet like you would. I know you can join wadding together, but it's quite nice to have one big piece for one big quilt, isn't it? But you don't need that for this one at all. It's all smaller pieces. And yes, Bernard, it is, I think, better than struggling with the big roll. Because you imagine normally, if you're making a quilt of this size that isn't quilted as you go, you've got to get this under your sewing machine. And it's massive. Well, it's big. It's 60 inches square. So you'd have to roll all of that up somehow and get it underneath your machine to quilt it. So it makes it an awful lot easier. You will have to get it under your machine at some point to sew the bits together, but you're only sewing a straight line, you haven't got to quilt all over it. So that makes it much easier. The kit's still available to buy on pre-order. They're going out, Serena. They're not on pre-order anymore, they're going straight out. So yes, we do have the kits. The kits that we have on the website are for the top and the binding. So you'll need wadding and you'll need backing fabric. The backing fabric, we do have some of these fabrics by the ½ metre if you wanted the same fabrics, and if you want to do two like this one, haven't got this fabric, but if you want to do two contrasting colours, then you'll need 2.5 metres of the white one on this one and 1 metre of the sashing. All right, so if you want to do it all in one colour, you need 3.5 metres of fabric to do the back. All right, but you'll need that. But the fabric to make the top, if you wanted to go for our kit, is £62. I haven't got one here to show you, but it comes in a box with a printout to identify all the different colours that are used. In your instructions, Melissa's kind of done a key chart, so I can't remember which order they are, but it would be something like Royal Fab 1, Pink Fab 2, Gold Fab 3, Olive Fab 4, and she's itemised them like that, so you know exactly which colours they are. In the kit you'll have 2 metres of white on white, 2 metres of the dark grey, and then I can't remember which ones, but there's 2 ½ metres and the rest are all in fat quarters. But there's 6.5 metres in total in the kit, in a box with a key chart for £62. And yeah, we do have some left on the website. But you can do these in any colour that you like. So I don't want you to feel, with anything from the Half Yard Club, that you have to buy the fabrics from my website. You don't. You can buy them from wherever you want. You make them in colours, where, you know, whatever colours you want to go for. It's just that there's an awful lot of people want to make exactly this. And it's the same with anything. You know, if I'm like with the polar bears, I want that fleece, I want that fabric for the scarf. That's just the way that it works. So I do like to be able to say, yes, I know where you can get that from because I've got it on the website. So that's why, but don't feel you have to buy anything. On the website, Serena, I can show you. I remember what to do with my mouse. What I did with my mouse, sorry. So let me just get this one up. So if you go, this is Debbie Shaw Sewing, completely separate website to the Half Yard Club, okay? Completely different. You can see the kit there, look, browse our featured products and just scroll down till you see it. So these are all the new fabrics that have just come in, so it's maybe on the second page now. It's there, look, Half Yard Sewing Club Block of the Month Topper Bundle. So I can't stress enough, it's for the top of the quilt, no wadding, no backing. And please don't buy it unless you're a member of the Half Yard Club, because there are no instructions with it. All you get is a load of fabric and what you will also need there, and that's what you're going to be making. So that's where it is. But we've got plenty of those, so no rush for that. And again, thank you, Janet. The instructions will be on the Half Yard Sewing Club on the 1st of January for the first block. Sharon, blues and whites would look really nice, wouldn't it? That would be really good. Oh, Sarah. Oh, I hope you're okay now. She's not been very well. Serena's just answered her own question. Serena just replying to Serena. Well done. What wooding or interfacing is best for the quilt? Again, 80-20. 80-20 for a quilt. I'm not a fan of 100% polyester unless it's just, I don't know, a lap quilt or a wall hanging or something like that. Personally, I tend to find it's a little bit stiff and not breathable. You can buy bamboo is beautiful, natural, breathable, expensive. You can buy 100% cotton, you can buy wool mixers, but 80-20 is 80% cotton, 20% polyester. So there's minimal shrinking with it. I think it's about 6% maximum. Again, I don't mind that kind of look. It gives it more of a vintage look. I don't mind it shrinking at all. Steam it before you use it if you are concerned about shrinkage. Most of the manufacturers will put on their packaging how much shrinkage there would be. And helpfully as well, they'll put on how far apart you need to quilt, because some of them you'll need to quilt quite close together, others you can quilt far apart. It doesn't really matter with some. These ones you can quilt far apart, but the 80-20 I would the 80% is the cotton, so that means it's breathable and natural and insulative, and the 20% polyester helps it keeps its shape. So that's the best of both worlds. We do have some on order. We've sold out completely of our 80-20s, but I mean, you can buy it anywhere. And I would go for a twin size. This is 60 inches square. A twin size is 72 inches by 90 inches, so you have a bit left over. But as I said earlier, if you do have some bits, then the biggest size you're going to need is a 13-inch square, so don't worry too much about that. Deirdre, I would buy your grandson adult scissors. He's 12 years old. I think a 12-year-old, maybe watch him with them. I shouldn't be recommending you give children adult scissors, but if my kids were 12-year-old, I'd be very confident that they could use adult scissors. So that's what I'd do anyway. Brenda went on a Quilted You Go course, just diagonal strips, and loved it. So much easier than normal quilting. It looks a bit more involved, but definitely going to give it a go. Thank you, Brenda. How can I make sure I get the dining table? How can I make sure I get the dining table for making the quilt? I can't keep giving Bill the flu. Sophie said right at the beginning on Facebook, wasn't it? You skipped over to YouTube, that she's given her husband the flu, but the upside is she gets the dining table to sew on. Oh, I don't know. You got room for 2 tables. Diane says, another reason to join the Half Yard Club if you're in the States, that you get 10% off the website. Oh, thank you, Diane. Yes, because you're in the States as well, aren't you? Yeah, you get, if you're a Half Yard Club member, again, the 2 websites are separate, Half Yard Sewing Club, and then around the corner, Debbie Shaw Sewing. Debbie Shaw Sewing is a shop. Half Yard Sewing Club is the Half Yard Sewing Club. But if you are a member, there is a code that you'll be given, or that you can find on the website. So when you come to my website, you'll get 10% off. Sometimes we just change it up and give you 20% for no particular reason. But it also means that if we have a sale on the website, like we did for Black Friday, where we give you 10% off, in effect, club members get 20% off, because you can still use that, and you can use 2 coupons if we ever do that as well. So you always get your 20% discount. And a Grinch ornament. I can't see a Grinch ornament. Was it my gnome? Was it the gnome that Fee made me? Where's he put that? Or is it a... Oh no, that's a gnome. Fee made me 2, so I've got one here and one here, using Maddie and Robin's faces. What was I on about? Oh yeah, so if you are out of the country, then obviously the postage is going to be a bit more, but yeah, 10% off will go. Oh, and on the sale things on the website, we have a special offers page. We have a few special offers pages, and you'll still get your 10% off any of the special offers as well. So have a look. Scroll down a bit. If you're ordering, or if you're browsing on your phone or on a tablet, I think the products tend to come up in order of when they go on the website, so newest first. But if you go right down to the bottom, you'll find some really good deals down there. Oh, Sarah's hoping to move to a bigger house next year, so she can have a craft room. Could you do a list of wadding and their uses like you do with needles? Yeah, Amanda, we need to get around to doing that. We don't sell every different type of wadding. That's the thing. So I'd need to buy it in so I can take pictures or send samples or anything like that. Thanks, Dorothy. They do a little. So for a 12-year-old, if you let them use rotary cutting tool, please invest in a pair of safety gloves. That's a good idea. Yeah, scissors are maybe safer than a rotary cutter for children. I have switched it off, Rosina. I have switched it off. Elizabeth, you will need 3.5 meters for the backing if you're doing it in one colour. If you're doing it in 2 colours like this one, you'll need 2.5 meters of this and 1 meter of this. I think it's quite nice having the contrast. Mind you, a lot of you have been ordering the turquoise, this one, on its own. I think Irene's going for that on its own. Somebody else ordered it today on its own. So again, 3.5. If you're going to go for one colour, 3.5 meters. So I hope that helps. It's just cutting your wadding. It's just your wadding would be helpful. Yeah, I shall look into that, because it can be a little bit of a minefield out there, can't it? We tend to keep in what I use, basically, but not a complete. Tell you where you can have a look. The Cotton Patch. And they do samples as well. I don't know how much they are, but you can buy like 12-inch squares of all of the different waddings that they do. But they do every type of wadding. They've got a really big selection there. We tend to just use the basics, because it can be a bit overwhelming, can't it? There's so many different sorts out there. What is a Krampus? I have no idea, Mary. Is that a joke? Or can somebody help? I don't know what a Krampus is. Back to Lemsip making. Oh, Sophie. Yeah, I hope everyone's better soon. Oh, Sarah's got a ruler with a rotary cutter attached. That's a good idea. Oh, Wedgwood blue and white on white for the backing for me. That sounds lovely, Bernadette. Kind of makes it reversible then, doesn't it? So could I do an example of the different types of fabrics and what they are good to make for? That's a good idea. I've written it in books a few times, but maybe I'll bring a few swatches from the office over and we can have a look at that sometime. Krampus isn't evil, Santa, is it? Not heard of that one. It's okay, where are we? Oh, it's 5:05 already. That went quickly, didn't it? So I hope that's kind of explain what Quilt As You Go is, anyway. But remember, if you are, there's so many people that have never quilted before, and I was actually talking to Melissa about this the other day, and it's just really nice that you're going to challenge yourself and have a go. But remember, I know I did say earlier on, but if you are a little bit nervous about it, you're working on this much all in one go. So you'll patchwork that much, you'll quilt that much, and then you'll start putting all of this together. But you'll have January, February, March, you'll have 4 months, and it's the April one where we're going to start putting this together. So you'll really get into the swing of things by then. Apparently, Deirdre, was it Deirdre? Bren says Fiskars do a smaller pair of scissors for age 10 plus. That might be worth looking at. Thank you. Jill can't wait to do next year's quilt. I know, it's lovely, isn't it? Well, they all are. But this one, I am writing a book with Melissa. So it's a joint effort, but she's been making up the blocks, and then I'm going to do the photography and then all that kind of thing and make some of the projects with it. And she sent me a picture of what it's going to look like yesterday. Can't show you, it won't be out for ages yet, but that's very exciting too. Janet has done Quilt As You Go, but no instructions. It was okay, but not 100%. I've got a good feeling about this. Oh, I hope so, Janet. Thank you. Oh, I don't like the Krampus, I don't think. Justify the shipping expense. By the time I use the gas price, my time getting there, the sales, and the most important, the original, unique and high quality fabric. Thank you, Nancy. She said it's well worth it. Nancy's in Colorado. Right, I'm going to get off. I don't know what I'm making on Saturday, been a bit busy again this week. People are shutting up shop early for Christmas, and I'm not, so I've got to get everything done. We're launching some new Madison bags on Crate and Craft on the 5th of January. I think I've got all loads of time to get these printed and everything. And then we get an email saying, can we have everything by Friday? So yeah, been a bit busy. And then Search Press wants January projects. I have done it. We're going wonky again on January the 1st. I'll show you that next time, actually. I'll show you that on Saturday. We've got a Wonky Street doorstop. I love it. I know I do. So it's so modest. I'm so modest, but I love it. But I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday yet, but I'll have a think about that. So your newsletter from Half Yard Club will be going out tomorrow. So if you want to have a sew along on Christmas Eve, that's what we're going to be making, remember. So you can get all of your fabrics ready in time for that one. That's it, really, isn't it? Yep. So I shall see you on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. If you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning, Rita, I'll see you there as well. I'm not sure if we're going to have Elisa with us. She's got grandchildren at the moment, I think, but we're thinking of her. And I think we're all up to date here, aren't we? Okay, yes, as Linda said, stay warm, everyone. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Actually, I'm glad you're still there. Let me just do that and that and that. Does anybody know of anywhere where we could take... sorry, that's my daughter. Oh, my mic's noisy. Oh, sorry. Oh, now I've dropped it. That's going to be even more noisy. Sorry, Kim, I missed that earlier on. This is going to be noisy while I put it back on. I'll put it there. Just bear with me. I wanted to ask you. We've got... Kim's actually got some brand new bedding that she doesn't need, and she was saying, do I know of anywhere where you can just give it to people? So not send it to a charity shop where anyone's got to buy it, but you know, like a food bank where people just go and they're given things. Then she wondered if anybody knew of anywhere where we could actually go and give these things so that they can give them to people that need them. And as we were talking about it, I said there must be places out there like that. I've got some stuff as well. I've got some quilts that we don't need. And because it's so blooming cold at the moment and a lot of people can't afford to put the central heating on, we just thought it might be nice we don't need it. We've probably got blankets and all kinds of stuff that we can just donate to somebody that can pick up. Local women's refuge, never thought about that. Hostels for the homeless. So if I just Google that, will that come up? I'm not very au fait with these kind of things. A local church, animal shelters. Yes, I've turned the iron off, Anne. Salvation Army. That's so I could get in touch with those, couldn't I? A lot of women's charities will have them. Oh, there's loads of places then, isn't it? Salvation Army again, I can ask those. Homeless shelters take single items, but not sure about bigger size. Okay. Salvation Army. A lot of you saying Salvation Army. Thank you. So you lot are just so much quicker than Google. I could have sat and Googled it and done some research, but I thought I'd ask you. There might be a Facebook page for your area where people should... Oh, that's a thought as well. Never thought about that. Talk to different churches. That's a good one. The BBC are looking for beds, but they might need blankets, etc. Oh, okay. Do you know, when I find somewhere, I shall let you know. I'll look into this over the next week. Age concern may take them. But we wanted them to be given to somebody. I don't want them to go into a charity shop and have to pay for things. I just want to donate them. Linda's Trust, is that one? Oh, Dunelm do they? I didn't know Dunelm did donations. Oh, okay. Right, I shall let you know how we get on. Thank you very much for that. Women's Refuge and Salvation Army. Riverside in Cambridge. Oh, okay, thank you. So thank you very much for that. I'm glad I remembered to ask you. You're very helpful. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Right, Linux donate to Young Leaving. Oh, do they? Okay. Thank you very much. I shall see you again on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much for your help and thank you for joining me today. See you, Rita. Home start. There's another one. I'll keep looking at these. Thank you very much. I shall see you Saturday. Bye-bye. Vincent de Paul.